This House.
I'm extremely indebted to my very good and very close friend, and I simply say this, that I'm so glad that he's made that point, because I am simply trying to do what I've always tried to do, which is to get past all the fog and ask the central question, which bears on the issue of the sovereignty of this House in relation to that referendum act which gave the right to the British people, and the 2008 Act to which he refers is the moment in time when we made that decision in this House, and even the member for Rushcliffe voted for the third reading of that Act. So this was a decision that was taken by this Parliament. So forget the fact that these indicative votes which are going on at the moment, which I regard as a parliamentary bag of licorice all sorts, is going through a process at the moment of some kind of obfuscation of the fundamental issues, because the draft regulations published yesterday, or a few days ago, are not in accordance with the 2001-8 Act, since they do not change exit day to a particular date. Instead, they purport to change exit day to two different dates, which is the point Lord Pannick referred to, depending on whether the House does or does not pass a resolution which satisfies the European Council decision. The words "does not satisfy the European Council decision," Mr. Speaker. I have raised this repeatedly. We have been supplicating the EU. We have given in to the EU. My European Scrutiny Committee last March made a very good report, and we pointed out that we should not accept the terms of reference that had been dictated to us by the European Union. That's where it all went wrong. And it then went wrong when the Withdrawal Act was overtaken by the Chequers Agreement on a pre-planned operation inside Number 10, driven by the Prime Minister and her advisers, the effect of which was to undermine the repeal of the 1972 Act. And I say pre-planned because, actually, we passed the Act on the 26th of June by royal assent. And within 10 days, the Chequers proposals have come forward, which morphed into the withdrawal agreement and Article 4, the effect of which is to make us subjugated to the rule-making of the European Union. That is what went on, and it was done deliberately, and it was going on while we were actually passing the Withdrawal Act itself. It was a monstrous, I would describe it as a deceit on the British people. And I would go further and say that in respect of the course taken by the government of seeking to preempt the affirmative resolution, this has definitely contaminated the lawfulness of its actions and has, at a minimum, created serious doubts about the legal situation. And I would draw attention, for those who would be interested, in the views of the retired Lord Justice of Appeal, Sir Richard Akins, who is entirely clear on this question. So I simply say, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister yesterday. I have not yet had a reply. She has not, in fact, answered my question about the Ministerial Code, which I've asked for twice. And as far as I am concerned, Mr. Speaker, this statutory instance should be voted down, and I invite the Attorney General to explain whether, as a matter of fact, irrespective of whether he's prepared to disclose his advice, which I think he should publish, whether or not